Welcome back to Fact Checking Robert F. Kennedy Jr. from the presidential debate, and this is part 14, and I am committed to getting this series done today. This one only has a couple fact checks, so I'm going to roll the clip and fact check throughout.
Their original question, CNN has somehow found a child care crisis in America. Somehow Americans raised children for years. Now there's a crisis because it costs too much. Is that something government did or can fix?
Well, the reason there's a crisis is because the economy with the middle class is gone. So in order to pay for a home, you need 2 jobs or 3 jobs. So oftentimes I'm running into people who have 4 jobs between the couples. A couple used to be when you and I were growing up, mom stayed at home or a parent stayed at home and took care of the kids. That doesn't happen anymore. Now, both parents, in order to hold on to that home, need to be working. So we do have a child care crisis in this country. And it's because of the destruction that both these men contributed to of the American middle class. And neither of them is offering any way to restore the middle class. Child care for Black Americans, John, is 37% of income.
So again, Kennedy said that 37% of household income for Black Americans is going straight to childcare. This one really depends on what you're looking at, because a nanny is going to be more expensive than daycare or after school care, so it just depends. But I did the math on national averages, so I just want to go through that real quick so you can get a general idea. According to care.com, people spend $321 a week on one child on average in the US. Now, obviously that can range depending on where you live, how many kids you have, and everything like that. I kind of average that people need childcare about 45 weeks a year. It could be more, could be less, but that's just kind of what I went with. So that results in 19% of overall household income going to childcare. And if we break that down by race, 27% of household income goes to childcare for Black Americans, 23% for Hispanic Americans, 18% for white Americans, and 13% for Asian Americans.
A single child. Oh, and nobody can afford that. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to wind down, I'm going to balance our budget, which is what President Trump promised to do, but I'm actually going to do it because why? Because it's existential. If we don't have the courage to do that, no matter what the cuts are, we have to do that or we are going to cease to exist as an influential nation. And but we cannot cut our way out of this debt. We have to build new industry. We have to build GDP. And one of the most efficient ways of building GDP is through child care, through guaranteed child care. There's a 22 times return on investment. As I said, every $1 million we spend on military weapons creates 2 jobs. Every $1 million we spend on child care creates 22 jobs.
I already fact checked this one in another video, but just a quick recap. The best data that I can find on this says that every $1 million that we give to the national defense creates about 7 jobs. Every $1 million that we give to childcare or to schools creates about 19 jobs.
And we need to grow our way out of this budget death spiral. And one of the ways we're going to do that is by providing child care, by taking away $500 billion from the military.
Back to the CNN debate.
Now that we're nearing the end of the series, I would love to hear from you what else you would like to see from me going forward. And as always, let me know your thoughts and make sure you're following me for more.